It was roughly 1 week ago that a family laid Sarah Root to rest. Days later, the man accused of the drunken driving crash that took her life bonded out of jail and proceeded to disappear.
Yeah, tonight, WOWT 6 News' Matthew Smith is digging into the case of Eswin Mejia and the judge who set the bond that led Mejia to skipping town.
We would like to call attention, however, to the fact that the cost of a bond proved less than the cost of her funeral.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Root family was not happy about the bond set for the man accused of causing a crash that took their daughter's life. Sarah Root's SUV was struck by a car driven by Eswin Mejia. Within days, he was out of jail on bond. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office tells WOWT 6 News he never even showed up for his mandatory ankle bracelet. It appears he skipped town. This week, I asked County Attorney Don Klein about this particular bond. He went on the record saying it was too low.
We want to ensure that he's held accountable and responsible, and obviously if he's not abiding by the conditions of bond, then that bond was too low.
So I dug through our own records to see how the $50,000 amount set for Mejia stacked up. For instance, in June of 2014, Pedro Diego Antonio was drinking and driving when he hit and killed an Omaha doctor. His bond was set at $300,000, and he'd eventually be sentenced to 35 years in prison. This deadly crash, also fueled by drinking, netted Tony Carroll a $500,000 bond. He, however, would eventually receive probation. Another, this one in March, drew attention when Justin Ayers admitted on camera he caused a crash.
My fault, that accident.
A woman died. His bond, $250,000. He, too, is now in prison. But then there's the case of Colin Larson. He's accused of hitting and killing a woman out near Springfield late last year. He wasn't arrested until weeks later. His bond, like Mejia's, was set at $50,000.
The bond is an issue that has come up time and time again with Root's family. In fact, they told me at last weekend's prayer vigil that they wish Judge Marcuso wasn't even on their case. They cited past incidents inside his courtroom. One of them actually made national headlines back in 2009. He left a highly profane voicemail to a prosecutor, a move that, according to the Associated Press, got him suspended. The other situation they brought up with me? A second suspension, this one back in '09 as well. He was accused of trying to get a lighter sentence for his nephew. Now, it's only fair to point out those situations happened years ago. The last pure judicial review I came across online was from 2012, and more than 75% of respondents said they believe Judge Marcuso should retain his office. I'll also note WOWT 6 News reached out to the judge to talk about this story, about the bond, the family's concerns, but given the fact that this case is ongoing, he declined our interview request.
As for Mejia, I've been in contact with local law enforcement. They say they haven't heard anything about him being brought in to date. That arrest warrant issued earlier this week still stands. His next hearing date remains on the court's docket. That's scheduled for February 26th.
We were able to finally confirm that Mejia did come to the United States illegally as a child, but he's been here for 4 or 5 years, so that leaves some questions as far as where he legally stands, as far as whether or not he's legally here in the States at this point in time. A few of those details couldn't be pinned down by airtime.
And Matt, I understand investigators actually tried to get a hold of him, though.
That's right, John. In fact, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office tells us that investigators tried to get a special hold through ICE, but the bond happened so quickly he got out, they didn't even get to file all that paperwork. So even had they found it, we don't know if it would have held Mejia.
All right, thank you. That's Matthew Smith reporting live tonight.